Welcome to chapter 11 of Life with SCG. As you can see, this has been a little bit of a dumping ground for me with the other projects. I was too lazy to get rid of the sand properly and things like that. And we're about to fix that. Let's go.
First up, had to go in and obviously clear out all the weeds and other rubble and stuff that was in there. And then I realised that I could basically just use it to build up the foundation of my pond idea, instead of having to lug it out and dispose of it elsewhere, which was good. So this is me just shoveling and whatnot and starting to build up the foundation, which looks pretty bad at the moment, obviously hosing it down as we go. It's predominantly all sand, and Fagan's there helping me out as well. Nice of him. So yep, a little bit more, going in there and trying to shape the, structure, which I ended up changing after this anyway, because I didn't have enough, depth, and the shelves, probably weren't big enough. So I've gone in and put the liner in, and we'll find out shortly that I actually go in and do this again the next day, because I wasn't happy with it. So
Alright, so we're up to day 2 on the pond build, and things like they do with me, they have escalated. Originally I was going to put in this, clam shell thing just as a liner, and well, I just kept digging. So it's been fun though, except the fact that it's extremely hot today. I think we're up to about 34 degrees at the moment. I got extremely sunburned yesterday, which was great, and yeah, so not a lot of footage from what I've been up to this morning. I did actually go in and dig some more and redo the liner from what I did yesterday because, well, just because I could. And this morning, bright and early, went out and scavenged some rocks, so some limestone from the bush, and I need to get it in, and that's, yeah, I've got to get all this around the back, and a wheelbarrow doesn't fit, so it's going to be manual labour. Wish me luck. Okay, so since we're now going to be doing this in hopefully only 2 parts, I figured I would draw it out a little bit as to what's sort of going on in my head and all the calculations and things like that. That way, if anyone watches this and sees something that's horribly going to go wrong, I can get schooled before I make a pretty bad mistake. So got a little bit of an understanding about ponds and things like that now, thanks to obviously Kev over at Oz Ponds, so thank you. And let's figure this out. So let's just start with the basics. So it's going to be really basic in terms of drawing here. So obviously it's going uphill because there is going to be a little waterfall style thing, not a very strong one. Let's just start. So we've got the first sort of pool, I guess, at the bottom, because then it steps up. And then down here, we've got a depth of 60 centimeters. We've got a length of 100 centimeters, and we've got about 50 centimeters in width. So that gives me approximately 300 litres for that one. Then we've got, it goes up with the step about 20 centimetres. So then we've got our next area, it actually goes down to about 95 centimetres width, and then we've got 40 centimetres in depth, and it runs about 60 centimetres across, so I think that works out to about 228 litres. And then we go up again 20 centimetres and across. So this one here I think is 40 centimetres in width, and we go down to about 90 centimeters and depth of 20 centimeters. So that works out to be about 72 litres, giving me about 600 litres in total, which is important. So you'll also notice I do have a bit of a drain where I've got my downpipe already going in. Bit of method to this is if it overflows, I am going to have a bit of an overflow sort of directed over to the drain. That way, if it rains, hopefully it'll just go straight in there rather than anywhere else. So, importance of this is we're going to have a pump sitting down here because I've got to get the electrical cord, into the house. I kind of thought about it. And the pump is going to pump the water up. We'll have to figure that out next week. And then we've got the bin up the top, which is 100 litres. So that is going to be my bog. And what I've learned from our mate Kev at Oz Ponds is you want it to be at least 10% of your capacity. I'm only going to have Madaka rice fish at this point down the bottom because obviously I've still got a lot of babies, so they can go live in there, help out with mosquitoes and things like that. It is a wildlife pond, and 10% is 60 litres, so 100 litres, that's going to be perfect. The water is obviously then going to filter its way up. We put the bigger rocks at the bottom, then we're going to have some smaller rocks and then small over there. And then we'll have a little opening here for the water to trickle down. I'm not going really big on the pump, even though they suggest, really big ones if you want waterfalls, but I don't actually want it to be overly powerful because my little guys down here don't actually like a lot of flow anyway, and probably the other wildlife that's going to be in there will probably prefer it to be a little bit, more calm and things like that. Then obviously it doesn't really look that pretty at the moment, so there's going to be a lot of plants and stuff like that. I'm going to try and go for native, but that way, I can attract some more native wildlife like bees and things like that. And then I've obviously put in, some driftwood, which will be great because it'll, help give refuge for some more sort of things. And whilst I'm going to try and keep this as native as possible, I do have a lot of bromeliads. If you don't know what they are, they're sort of like, I'm really bad at drawing these at the moment. Yeah, I'm not going to bother. But bromeliads, they're sort of like the, flowery looking. I'll just put a photo up of one. But frogs like to live in there, so hopefully that will attract some frogs. This is actually how it all started originally with the other pond idea. Was I did find some frogs in my garden and I was like, oh my god, I could make something for them, and obviously that one escalated and more ended up with fish. But that was a good thing because now we've gone down some rabbit holes, which have been great because they have offered plenty of therapy for me.
Hey, buddy.
That's probably it for a little bit of my logic at the moment, and let's see if I've got it somewhat right. Good drawing.
Alright, so the liner obviously didn't go all the way over one side, which is fine. So what I'm actually doing is going in with some expanding foam just so that I can secure it to the edge. And yep, obviously it doesn't really look pretty at the moment. However, I will find a way to go in with plants and things like that and hide it, thinking of maybe some limelight or something like that, which can cascade over my little retaining wall to the side there. Yep, Fagin being helpful again, not so helpful. Yeah, and, at this point in time, I, kind of thought that I might just keep it as a little bit of a plunge pool because it worked, perfect sizing, but we won't do that. Okay, so you can probably tell from here, I had redone the shape, so the steps are a little bit clearer now and I can actually put stuff on them. And I've gone in and filling it up again because I did empty it because I'd been wearing sunscreen and things like that, and it had obviously been in there. And then I added a bit of the driftwood, and yeah.
Alright, so that's probably it for now. We're probably going to do this in 2 parts. It's been a full weekend, and well, as things do with me, they obviously escalated. Dug a lot more than what I was going to originally dig, and I don't know, it'll be cool, it'll come together. So we'll just leave it for a week and get cracking to it again next weekend. It will be a wildlife pond, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I should probably sort out the filtration properly, but we'll get there. Anyway, see you soon. There's restrictions on owning a pool, not if you own a pond.